Hello again and welcome back to Supra Rebuild. So in today's little video it's going to be mainly this. So as you can see there, I've got the Supra's wiring loom. It's currently fired into the diesel heater just to try and warm it up a bit, because believe it or not it's actually about -2 in this garage. It's cold. So yeah, I'm just trying to warm that loom up so that it becomes a little bit more malleable, and then hopefully some of the wires don't crack when I try and open it out. So once I get it opened out on the floor, I can see where things are going, and I'm then going to go and get it installed back into the engine bay on the Supra. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth with this, mainly because I don't want to be starting cutting wires out of it, because I don't actually know right now which wires I need to keep and which ones I can get rid of, sort of until the engine is up and running. So this is going to be a case of put it in now, get the engine running, and then probably next year when it comes off the road, if it gets on the road, and then sort it all out again afterwards. So a bit of a partial sort of update, but yeah, so let's just get to it. Right, so as you can see, it's a bit of a nest of wires, so trying to figure out what's what used to go to where, and take it from there really. Right, so I've just realised these are actually two separate looms. So this one is everything related to the engine. So that end there where them yellow plugs are, that's ECU. It feeds down into this distribution block type thing here, and then all of these, I seem to have wired them up, and these say, where is that one? So this, between middle to injectors it says, so they must be for the knock sensors. There's a bit of a sensor there, I'm not quite sure what the original sensor was, but yeah, there's loads and loads of plugs, so this is just going to take some sorting, organising. Some of them are labelled, some of them aren't. I did try and label them, I remember when I took them all out. So like that star meter, I've no idea. What does this one say? Block NOx. So these are NOx sensors, not star sensors. So they're part of the NOx sensor system. Yeah, so that's that side. That's all engine related. This is like the main fuse box, and all of these parts here are sort of like where it goes round your headlight units and this, that and the other. So this part here, as you can see, the curve of this hardened plastic part of the loom, that is where it tucks behind the headlight, and there's another one over there, so that's the opposite headlight. So you've got front and left. I think this is front right, because that's normally as you're looking at the car, I mean, so as you're looking at the engine bay, that there is the fuse box, so this will be front right as you're looking at it. That's going to be front left headlight area as you're looking at it from the front of the car. So I'm pretty sure now I know what's what loom wise. It's just a case of getting it all a bit more tidied up before it goes back in the car. So all of this sort of stuff that just looks messy and scrappy will be getting organised and sorted out, which I just hate doing. I hate wiring with a passion, but yeah, it's got to be done, hasn't it? So let's just carry on. So I'm just looking at the ECU end of the plug system here, and as you can see, I do have cut wires already, quite a few of them, and I'm pretty sure I didn't cut any of them out when I took them out of the car. So I've got absolutely no idea what all these are for. So this is why I'm going to have to pull up the schematic drawing for all the ECU pinouts and see what on earth is what, because there's even these sort of coppery type cables here that aren't standard Toyota that have been wired into the ECU. Where they go to down this loom, I've got absolutely no idea. So this is going to be me now for the next few hours just trying to figure out what is what on this loom. I'm not going to bore you with that, I'm just going to do it and then I'll show you at the end. So I've been out to the car and I've figured out that these purple wire here and these wires here are actually part of the Clifford immobilizer, so they were cut out when I took the loom out, so that's on me. But they're easy enough to reconnect. I was just trying to figure out where they link to. This purple one goes to this brown plug here, which I'm not quite sure what that one is for, but it's so close to these, so I'm sort of thinking it's the cam positioning sensor. I'm not quite sure, so maybe it confuses the ECU to say it can't read a cam position, so therefore it won't fire or something. I've got absolutely no idea. So but at the minute the rest of the loom is fine, so all of this part of the loom here is fine. It's only when it gets to here it's got these additions to it, so I'm pretty happy that I can just sort of put it back in, get the engine up and running, and then once I'm happy, because I'm getting new knock sensors and all that lot going on it, so once I've got those in, I know what sort of wires on this main harness I can start chopping out, but that's not going to be for quite a while, so at least I can get the engine harness in and I know where I'm going from there. So one of the first things I need to do is to put the top headlight panel back in, because when the loom goes in it actually tracks around that. The lower headlight trim, which is, I think it's down here actually, right, tucked away. No, it's not under there. I've literally just had that and I don't know where I've put it. It's not exactly small. Here it is. So this panel, as you can see, it's really quite rusty. There's a few parts where there should be captive nuts and they've broken off, and the areas have just started to get to a point that I don't like. Now this thing unfortunately is way too big to fit inside my shop blasting cabinet, so I've managed to find a cheap one that was new, so it was only £100. Sounds a lot, but anything for the Supra, if it's £100 it's cheap. So yes, so I've got a new one of those on order, so for now I'm not too fussed about trying to restore that one, so that can just stay there for the time being, and then when my new one turns up I get that painted and then we can get it put on. So but for the time being, that panel, which is that one up there, and also what I'm going to do, the inlet plenum here, I'm going to remove this. It's only held on by 2 bolts because the loom actually comes out of there and feeds round and goes down here and then underneath all this lot. So if this is just out of the way, it makes my life just that little bit easier. Right, so we've got the panel back on and the plenum off and out of the way. So as you can see, that hole there is where the ECU cables come out of. So it is going to be quite close, I think, to where these braided brake lines are. These fuel lines aren't in the correct place, so don't worry about them. But yeah, I think it comes out and goes across this way, so maybe some of this is going to be in the way. I'm not quite sure yet, so I might need to rejig some bits and pieces around here, but it should be alright, it's all doable. So yeah, let's go and get the loom out and see what's what. But before I do, I'm going to get some rags and I'm just going to lay them and get them taped around here so that when I put the loom in, none of the hard plastic bits scratch any of my new fresh paintwork. Right, so I've gotten the loom in, I think my lens is a bit mucky there. Gotten the loom in as much as I can do, really. So, as you can see down here, that's the crank position sensor. So that goes to one of these plugs, I think it's that one. This one is going down to the power steering, and the other two are redundant. So I'm just going to end up with a loom there with a load of redundant wires sticking out of it. And also down here, as you can see, there's this rather large piece of plastic trim that the loom runs through, and this used to bolt to the underside of the original inlet manifold. So obviously I'm using an aftermarket one, so there's physically nothing for that to bolt to. So I'm just going to go through the drawing schematic, and then hopefully I'll just get all these wired up as to what they go into, what they connect to, whether they are needed or whether they are now redundant, because there's a lot of them. There's all of these up here. Some of these go to the injectors, some of them go to, that says an oil sump sensor, so I'm presuming that's going down to that plug down there. So that's obviously going to be the float level for the oil, so that's going to be kept. But there is the odd wire in here in all of this lot that just needs to go. Even over this side here, round the back, this great big loom, half of these cables here just aren't going to get used. So I'm going to go through it all, strip it all back, and give it as good a tidying up as I can and get everything labelled properly. And then I know where to go from there, because I don't want to put this loom in and it looking untidy, knowing that once I've put all the inlet manifold on and all that lot, that it's going to be coming out again at some point to get it all tidied up. So yeah, it's not ideal really, but needs must, I suppose. So I've managed to find myself a nice diagram, so it's got all the lines going to what plugs they are. This is the vast majority of these are going to this blue harness, which I've not currently got in at the moment. That's like your headlight and fuse box harness. There's a few of the plugs that are in that main body, but if you go to this next page, just bear with me. So this here, all these plugs are relating to the dark green loom in the middle predominantly, so that's what I'm going to be following. So like all of the ends here, so like these plugs here are all this area, so you can see when you follow these down, so like B1 there. When you come to the schematic, to the diagram, it tells you what's what. B1, I know it just says sensor there, but that'll mean for like the water temp sensor. I'll pick another one out, might be a bit more intuitive. So B4, so B4 goes to your alternator, which B4 would be this plug here, which is the only one down here that actually fits for the alternator, so that must be that one. There's a couple of others, like I said, down to the power steering pump. But you can also look at these and go, well, which one's my steering pump on here, and then find the number and then cross-reference to this. So it just gives me a little bit of an update and an easier path to follow. And the other thing is, with the knock sensors that go in on the engine, obviously the standard Bosch sensors are going to be going, because I've got the sensors from Link, and they also come with their own wires, which are shielded wires. I think the originals are shielded, but obviously nowhere near as good as the newer stuff. So all of these loom would be separate to that loom, but I want to try and get it all included into one loom so that it's all just a lot neater. So I just need to crack on now and start pulling looms and getting them all labelled up, pulling the plugs, sorry, and getting them all labelled up as to which one is which. And as you can tell, it's absolutely fecking freezing out here, so I've just ordered myself 2 sheets of OSB board so I can close off this big hole here, because as you can see, it goes from house all the way across to there. It's about, I've just measured it, it's 2.5 meters across, so it's just letting a really cold breeze come in through here. The curtain of the coconut shy there is doing its job, that's alright, but it's just this end that's open. So I'm going to close it off and put a door in it so that it just keeps a bit of the breeze out, because it's absolutely freezing. So yeah, let's just get cracking. It might warm me up a bit. Whilst I'm doing all this, there's always one thing that cheers me up, And that's little Tilly there. Who's that? Who's that? Who's this? Tilly Bobs. She always keeps me company whenever I'm out here. So it's only been a couple of minutes and already some of the sensors have got more labelled up, but this one here was confusing me because it was just said, it was this one here, B1, and it just says sensor. So I was like, what on earth can that be? Is it the exhaust gas temperature? Is it a VSV valve? Because the original turbos used to have little solenoids to control the turbos. Now I'm pretty sure that the VSVs were all just 2-pin stuff, so that leaves this blue plug and this black plug, which were the inlet VSVs and the exhaust VSVs, something like that, I can't remember. But this one here was confusing me the hell out of me. So I looked down this side here and there's a few more connectors. So there's all of this lot, it's another 2-pin, there's another 4-pin there, so I thought, it could be that. So this is why I never throw anything out until I am absolutely sure that I know where everything is going again. So that is part of the downpipe for the Supra. So this broken plug here, I've tried to fit that plug into that plug up there and it would not go in no matter which way you tried it, but I've tried it in this one here and it fits in there perfectly, which leads me to believe that this plug would be originally situated around here, which is very close to where the downpipe is for the original turbos. So for me, that there is your first pre-cat engine temp sensor, which now I've done a bit of digging online, I've actually found that that is what it is. So again, don't throw anything out until you bloody know what it's for. So at least I can get that labelled up now and carry on. So there we go, that's every single plug now on the ECU labelled. Not gonna lie, it's now gone dark, so that's how long it's taken me. It mainly confused me with this, because this here has got every single injector on it apart from one. I was like, what's going on here? Turns out injector 1 is here, buried in this loom. So this does your first injector, and then your second injector starts on this loom and then goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why put... And there we have it. So I've been through every single plug, figured out what's what. So like the ignition coil packs, this one goes off down to gearbox. It's taken, no word of a lie, on and off, 2 days to do this. Told you I don't like wiring. But yes, we're sort of making a bit of headway now. So I just need to figure out from all of these what can be sort of removed and what needs to stay. But yeah, that's the next task, is to figure all that lot out, and then once I've done that, start with a loom tidy up. Like the main part for me was this bit here. So this great big horrible black plastic thing originally used to bolt to the underside of the inlet manifold, but now it's not being used. So for me, this piece of plastic can go and it can just be loom wrapped and clipped to out of the way, so it looks a lot neater, if you know what I mean. And some of these cables actually need lengthening slightly because they're not going to be long enough for where they need to be. So yeah, I just need to get on with it and get it tidied up a bit and just take it from there really. So I suppose there's not much more I can do apart from getting on with it. So yeah, I'll do that and I'll show you in a bit. So since that last clip, I've had a bit of a delivery. So I've had some of my OSB board turn up. So yeah, so it's just a case now of getting this butted up against this wall, which it won't in a minute because of that joisty bit there. So I just need to make a mark as to what I need to cut off. And that's about as far as I can go with that, because I thought I ordered hinges but I didn't. Typical. So this side here I can't yet close that off because it'd just be a solid board in the way. So what my plan is to just put the two boards together, put the hinges top and bottom, and then literally just cut a door out of it so that when you finish the cut, it's already got the hinges on it. So very crude, but all it is a windbreak basically. So I need to get on with this because it's already starting to flap and flail around in wind. So yeah, let's just get this screwed and cut down and screwed down. So it's always something to do, isn't there? So there we have it, there's one board up. So that's that one in place. The next one, I'm gonna have to just cut a slight chamfer on top of it because it will touch the ceiling. But it's not too much of an issue. But I found some hinges in the garage, so I'm gonna go and just use them. I think makes my life a bit easier. But like with anything DIY in the UK, as soon as you start, it starts chucking it down. So everything is now getting wet through, including myself. But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to close this off. So I'm gonna go and get the other board out now and just see where I can get up to, because it's gone minging. Weather's absolutely atrocious. So yeah, got to crack on. And there we have it. So it's closed off now. It's not a perfect job, I'm going to admit. There's a couple of little changes I already need to make. So down here at the bottom, where I screwed that back onto the floor, I just thought, oh, that looks about level, which it clearly isn't, because it's closed up solid at the top. And there's a big gap down there at the bottom, so it's actually at a bit of an angle. So it's not the end of the world, but it'll bug the shit out of me if I don't fix it. So right now I've got to go and get a little lad from school, so I'm not going to have much time now to get this finished, but it's nearly there. So tomorrow I've got some like gate latches that are going to go across it, so they'll keep it closed if it gets up windy at all. But yeah, so for now it's just going to have to do. So I'll get a little lad and then I'll see if I can just get this bit finished off. So it's the next day now. As you can see, it's daylight again. So I've not done much on it. I've literally just done this. So I've just put a little catch on it. That's all it needs for now, just to stop the draft, so that I can work on this without being absolutely perishing. So yeah, but anyway, I've got a little delivery. So I've had this rather large box delivered here, which is the headlight panel for the front of the Supra. If you remember earlier on in video I mentioned I've got one, but it's a bit rusty and I just really can't be bothered trying to restore it, so I just thought I'll buy a new one. They're not too expensive, so whilst they are there and available, I thought I might as well just bloody get one. So I'm going to get this unboxed and then we'll see how it fits on the car. And here it is. Not really much to show you, it's just a headlight panel. So let's take it to the car, see how it fits, and then we can go from there, because I believe that the loom for the rest of the engine bay sort of tracks around this a bit. So that's why I wanted to get a new one sorted. Seeing as I'm doing the wiring, I've got something I can offer it up to then, and I know that everything is going to go back where it needs to go back. And there we go, so that's that on. It's only 4 bolts. I'm not quite sure how this attaches up this end. I think it's just via the bumper, I can't remember. But yeah, at least it's on. I know it fits well, as it should do really, being a brand new panel. But yeah, and I'm looking at it now thinking, actually the wiring loom that goes around it doesn't actually go on this, it goes on this one. But I needed a new one of these anyway, so at least now I've got it. So yeah, let's just get back in garage now and get back on with that wiring, which I'm really not looking forward to. So I've got the loom all laid out on bench now, and I'm literally just going to go through it all and get all this old plasticky stuff off and just try and sort it out. Not particularly an exciting job, but it needs to be done, unfortunately. And there you have it. So all of that is fully unwrapped now up until just this point, because that's just the bit that goes through into the car itself. So this side of things I'm not really too fussed about. Well, not as of yet anyway. I don't think I'm going to have any issues with those bits. But obviously if I'm cutting bits out, then I probably will have to go all the way into that plug system properly, but it's just a bit of a faff. But yeah, it's there. So that little montage you just watched there was the best part of 3 hours of work. So as you can see, there's a box there full of all the old bits. So as I've been taking it off, I've been re-identing it and making sure that I know what's what. Yeah, so I'm done now. Look at my fingertips are really sore. But the reason I've done this is so that I can get at the wires, because I'm just trying to find one to show you. So like this one here, so on injector number 2, the wires here have gone that brittle. If you can see down there where my index finger is, there's actually a break in the wire. I've found a few of those because this wire is so old, and it's got hot and then cooled down and then got hot and then cooled down over and over and over and over again for many years. It's a 1994 car, this, so a lot of the wires have become brittle. So there's a few breakages, especially on the coil packs. So I've got a new loom for the coil packs, and I've also got a new loom I think for the injectors as well. So it's just a case of splicing all of that into this and trying to get it to work. But without having a running car, I will not know whether this loom works until it's ready to turn the key, if you know what I mean. So this is very sort of hit and miss. So the next video is going to be one of me taking my bloody time doing all this, making sure I've got everything right, because if I get anything wrong on this, it could potentially damage the engine and fuck something up. So I really don't want to do that and have to rebuild the engine again. So yeah, so anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. See you soon.